My dad's side came from the Azores, and my mom's side came from the Basque Country in Spain. My great-grandparents, they were immigrants and started with basically nothing. My dad started working when he was a very young man and actually took over the family dairy operation when he was a sophomore in high school and had to quit going to school. He kind of took on that same trust in young people, and we had some old D8 Caterpillars that I used to have to stand up and grab the clutch to engage it, and it was all my might I could do to engage that clutch on that old D8K. Just work like a man, because that's what was expected, and you know, he had confidence in you, and it really resulted in probably an excessive amount of self-confidence that I have today.
Mark and his family are incredibly generous with this community. It's not just about their giving, but they give of their time, which is most important. Mark is incredibly knowledgeable about so many different aspects outside of the agriculture and water world, and the fact that he's able to give that expertise to local institutions and things that are very, very important to this community are something that I really admire for him. So proud that he's able to be a part of this really incredible history of Fresno County agriculture.
It's not an award for an individual, it's an award for a family, really, that has spent decades in agriculture. There's a saying, you stand on the shoulders of those who came before you, and that's absolutely true. My dad and mom actually started farming on the west side in the late 60s, and my brother and I were fortunate enough to follow in their footsteps, and we've built on that since. And now I have a son who is also now working with us and hopes to be the 5th generation of farmer here in the valley.
Mark is an incredible and passionate defender of California, Fresno County, and Westside agriculture. Very few have been able to, as eloquently as him, be involved in explaining to the masses about the importance of what agriculture provides, not just as far as the food on our plate, but the economic activity, the jobs, and everything else associated with it.
The main thing that I worry about is the next generation of family farmer. You know, when I got out of school in '74, I would go to meetings, both local and national meetings in the industries, and I saw a lot of people my age, you know, in their late 20s, early 30s. Today, if you go to a farm meeting, you don't see many young people getting into the industry. A lot of the young people now look at all the legislation, the rules, the regulations, the changing of the rules of the game after it started, and they just don't really see a future for themselves. They don't like the risk profile, and to be honest, some of them really don't like the work that's required. All of that combined has really lowered the number of people that want to come back into the industry.
Today, Mark is a passionate advocate when it comes to social media, talking about the issues that affect this industry and what we can do together to try to, fight back and really try to defend this industry well into the next century.
My dad used to have a saying that a farmer is a unique individual. You can put a $100 bill in his pocket, walk him out into the middle of 160 acres, drive a stake in the ground, put a chain around his ankle and around that stake, and that farmer will actually chew his foot off and crawl to town to spend that $100. And his point was, all of the economic activity that you see out here in the west side, and it's billions of dollars, there is only one place the farmer can spend that money, and that's in town. And so people who are urban and who have businesses in town benefit from those dollars that are generated out here in the countryside, but there's only one place it can be spent, and that's in town. So I think we sometimes feel like there's a lack of appreciation of the importance that agriculture has for the economic activity. They talk about, oh, it's 2% of the state's economy or 4%, whatever the number. It's a heck of a lot more than that. More recently, when we began having these drought periods where land was being fallowed, while it may not sound like much when 150,000 acres of land is lying fallow in the Westlands Water District, that 150,000 acres would generate on an annual basis about $3,000 to $4,000 per acre. And if you take that and multiply it by 3.5 times through the economy, those are dollars that never get spent. And spent where? Spent in town. I think we ought to do a lot more together to try to educate the non-agricultural sector about what we do, how we do it, and emphasize we're all in it together.